Hello, everybody. So in this lesson, we're looking at finding the probability of an event occurring. So before we go ahead and look at this, we need to understand what probability actually is. So a probability is the chance of something occurring. That's all it is. So if we look at this first example here, imagine we've got a coin, a 10 pence piece. That coin has two sides. It has a side with a head and it has a side with a tail. It has a chance of showing a head or it has the chance of showing a tail if it's flipped. So we're asked to find the probability of getting a head if this coin is thrown. So there is one head and there are two possibilities. So in this case, the probability of getting a head is 1 out of 2. So it's a half. And that's because there's one head and there's a total of two possible outcomes. Let's look at this second question. So what's the chance of getting a tail? Well, the probability of getting a tail is the same because there's one tail and there are two possible outcomes. So what's the chance of getting a head tail? Well, there's only a chance of getting a head or the chance of getting a tail. There's no such thing as a head tail. So in that case, there is a zero chance out of two. Well, zero divided by two is still zero. So that is a zero chance. Notice the word I use there, the word chance. So if you're thinking of probability, you think of that word chance. That might help you with that. Okay, so now let's look at a second example. So this one here is a die, and that has six sides with the numbers 1 to 6 on them. So we're going to find the probability of getting a 3, then a prime number, and then an even number. So on this die, you have got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there are six possible outcomes, and there is one 3. So the probability of getting a 3 is 1 because there's one of them out of 6. It's 1/6. So what about a prime number? Well, let's look at this. Is 1 a prime number? No. Is 2 a prime number? Yes. Is 3 a prime number? Yes. Is 4 a prime number? No. Is 5 a prime number? Yes. Is 6 prime? No. So how many primes do we have? We have one, two, three primes. So the chance of getting a prime is 3 because there's three primes out of one, two, three, four, five, six. And finally, what's the chance of getting an even number? So here we go. We have one even number, two even numbers, three even numbers. So the chance of getting an even number is again 3 out of 6. Now on both of those last two, we can simplify them both down to 1 out of 2. That's the basics of finding the probability of an event occurring. So let's look at a different question. So in this question here, first of all, we've got a bag, and in that bag, we've got one, two, three, four blue discs, and we've got two green, three red, and one yellow. So let's just see, first of all, how many discs in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 in total. Okay, let's answer these questions then. So what's the probability? What is the chance of getting a red disc? So if we look at this, the probability of a red is equal to 1, 2, 3, because there are three red out of 10. That doesn't simplify. So the second question is what's the probability of getting a red or a yellow? So here we count all the reds and the yellows together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in total, and that is 4 out of 10. That can be simplified to 2 out of 5. Now, this next question, what is the chance of not getting a green? So you're going to count everything except the greens. So we know there are 10 and there are two greens. That means there should be 8 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's correct. So the chance of not getting green is equal to 8 out of 10, which simplifies to 4 over 5. What is the chance of getting a black? Well, if you look carefully, there are no blacks. So there is no chance of getting a black. I'm not going to write 0 over 10 because that just still is 0. And finally, what's the chance of getting red, blue, or yellow? So I need to count the reds, blues, and yellows all out of 10. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 out of 10. If you look carefully, that's exactly the same as not getting a green. Okay, hopefully that gives you the very basics of probability. Let's look at this in a more complex situation. So before we look at the next set of questions, we need to understand what a deck of cards looks like. The thing to sort of see here is that you have four suits. You have what are called clubs, you have spades, you have hearts, and you have diamonds. They're your suits, and in each suit you have 13 cards. And each suit is made up of three picture cards, and they are the Jack, Queen, King. Each suit has an ace. And then finally, we have effectively ace, not one, goes then two, three, four, five, six, all the way up to 10. Okay, so if you think about this now, you also have two black suits and you have two red suits. Now, there are 26 cards that are black and there are 26 cards that are red. The picture cards, there are 12 of them in total, and you have got 40 in total of the other cards. This is the sort of information you need to know before you start dealing with probability in relation to cards. Let's have a look at a question. So I've left the diagram at the top right. The question here says, if all of the aces are taken out of the pack, here we go. This is really important. So we're not actually going to use the aces. So what we need to do here is actually put a line through them. Now we've done that, what is the chance of getting a three? Let's have a look at this. How many threes are there? There are all the threes. There are four threes. Out of how many cards? Well, originally there were 52 cards, but we've just taken off all the aces. We've taken off four. So now we've got 48 cards left. Getting a three, the probability of getting a three is 4 out of 48. Well, you can half both of those. That's 2 out of 24. And again, you can half it, which is 1 out of 12. Looking at question number 2, what's the chance of getting a red card? These are all the red cards. And if you look at that, there are 26 red cards in total. Take away the two aces, gives me 24 over a total of 48, as we said earlier. Well, that's half. And if you think about that, there are half of the cards are red, half of the cards are black. Chance of not getting a five, well, there are four fives. So if you think about this, there are four fives in that pack out of 48. Well, the ones that aren't at a five are the remainder. So you've got 48 minus 4 gives me 44. So the chance of not getting a 5 is 44 out of 48, which is the same as saying 22 out of 24, which is the same as 11 out of 12. And again, if you think carefully, if you look at one suit only, there are 12 cards remaining. There's the 12, and 11 of them are not a 5. So you could have gone straight to this if you chose. I'm going to look at the bottom suit only. So we're looking at getting a 2, a 3, or a 5. That is 3 out of 12, which if you simplify that, that is 1/4. And finally, a picture card. Well, each suit has 3 picture cards. And again, each suit at the moment has 12 cards because the ace has been taken out. And that also is a quarter. Well, I hope that's given you a good introduction to probability. If you've got something out of this, as always, please like and subscribe, and then hop on to the next video, which is looking at relative frequency.